Unfortunately, Mabeli had a negative experience both for him and for us, in the sense that on the first day of training he got injured, and then it was all a struggle for recovery. He was out an injury, which lasted a very long time, and then there were some bits of recovery. Every time it seemed he could recover, then maybe a relapse or que te pete que it was really a shame, because he is a player who was taught to add value, and added value. I believe that the injuries are what ultimately determined this decision, right?
Leon Bailey is back at Aston Villa after a not so pleasant spell at AS Roma. The Jamaican international is still one of Jamaica's best talent, but what is next for the player? Today on Premier 7, I want to provide a solution pertaining to what can be done to give Leon Bailey another chance to shine as a player. The topic of importance is how Leon Bailey can still deliver for club and country at 70%. Join Premier 7 right now for the big chat. Broken things can be fixed and healed. Nothing is too difficult or too dirty to clean. A quote written by Markia Makula. This quote relates specially to the current situation of Jamaican forward, or let's say winger, in a Leon Bailey. I am certain, and I have seen others covers contents relating to Leon Bailey's return to Aston Villa after a poor spell at AS Roma. But it wasn't a case that Leon Bailey wasn't performing on the pitch, but because of the recurrence of injuries. Today on Premier 7 People, as expressed earlier out, I want to provide a solution, or let's say solutions, as to how to get the best of Bailey. Picture this. You have, let's say, $60,000 and you want to buy an iPhone. You don't really fancy the iPhone module, or let's say the levels of the iPhone, the 14, 13, 12. You just want a phone that you can use because your previous phone or your current phone for correction is damaged. You look on your budget and you're skimming through the internet. You are seeing some good phones, but the battery percentage, they are very much full, but the price is out of your reach. Now you see one that is 70%, but it is still effective. You just know that you have to work with your budget and know how to manage your phone. And that is the same thing with Leon Bailey. The topic is how Leon Bailey can still deliver for club and country at 70%. The fact is that Leon Bailey is not fit. Leon Bailey is coming closer and closer to the ending of his career, but he have a lot more to deliver, of course, because the fat lady has not seen as yet, still in his 20s. So, where Bailey is right now, I mean, we would understand that Leon Bailey is back at Aston Villa. He was recalled from the loan, or let's say his contract was terminated, and that is not a good thing for a player. So Reggae Boy's Leon Bailey is on his way back to Aston Villa, ending his injury loan spell with Roma. His agent and manager Craig Butler confirmed to the Jamaica Observer on Tuesday. The 28-year-old was loaned to Italian club Roma in the summer, but injuries plagued his stint there, and Butler believed a return to England was the best option. Why was it the best option? I think in that case, the medicals, the staffs, maybe they know how to really and truly assess Bailey better and making him come back into a better form without having a recurrence of the injuries. I mean, some injuries will remain while some will go away. But in a Leon Bailey's case, countless times it seems like he will have these millions of injuries. I'm overdoing that millions, but we know that Leon Bailey is no an injury prone athlete. No, let's not be harsh on him. We know he loves to party. We know that about him, but the thing is, Leon Bailey is a human being, but it is his responsibility, though, to do the right thing. But I don't think intentionally he wanted to be injured so much. Look at his record. The latest injuries that he had was at Roma. I'm not going to touch upon Aston Villa and Jamaica. There was a time in 2025-26 he had a muscle injury, out for 59 days, missed 8 games. Coming closer to this date, hamstring muscle injury, 23 days out, 3 games missed. Muscle problems, 24 days missed, 5 games missing. And 7 days out with 1 injury unknown up to this point. So in total, Leon Bailey is hitting more than 50. Well, that is too short. More than 100 days away from the football pitch. Representing Roma, definitely he would have been sent back home. People, this is not good for Leon Bailey. But here on Premier 7, I am a solution based person, and that is what makes me different, right? So, before I dive into the other segment of the video, people, you're seeing on screen 2,740 subscriptions. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Road to 3,000. Also, a big shout out to those persons who continuously support the page. I will always appreciate you. Of course, people, those who are commenting, I just have to let this be known. Please be respectful and let every conversation stick to football matters. All right. So let's talk about a change in where Bailey should play then. Because the traditional winger role for Bailey is not the answer. It is not the answer because it requires full back tracking, high intensity pressing, repeated recovery sprints. Leon Bailey is not on that level again. But at 70% fitness, this role drains Bailey before he can even influence a game. So it shows then that even if he's at 70%, he will not be good enough to help as a winger. Instead of being decisive, he becomes cautious. Instead of being explosive, he becomes hesitant. So I'm talking about the fact that because he's injured, even to say at 70%, he is restricted to be a winger. So the problem now is not going to be Leon Bailey because if he's somewhat fit and we need him to play for Jamaica and Villa needs him to win the Europa League possibly, we have to know how to use the player. Not to say to run him down to the ground, but to manage him properly. And here is the solution. Refining Bailey's role. Move him inside. Bailey should operate as an inside forward or a free attacking player drifting from the right. So no more wing role. Mr. Speed, if you're going to get Bailey into the squad, no more winger role. Well, it is you that will decide, but if he is fit at to say 70%, getting closer and close to 100, do not put him as a winger. I already told you guys what a winger is about, and you guys would have known already. So to reduce the long sprints and increase in possibility of injuries, let it be like this. It will be better to put him in a position that he's not doing so much running, but where his creativity can influence the game, his shooting, and his ball touches. Bailey is a player who likes a one touch, you know. That is a part of him, but sometimes we know he can overdo things, but we know the type of football that he plays. We want for him to enjoy himself instead of being hesitant because he's wondering about the injuries. I'm not here to stress the player out. I'm not here to beat him down. I am here to provide a solution. So the closer is this to goal, less strain, more impact. So reduce his defensive duties. I mean, in football, we have to defend, but for him, not so much. Get players in that can do more of that, while Bailey focuses more on linking plays and scoring goals. Bailey should not be the primary defender to defend against on the flank, right? Give him midfield cover, a hard running winger back. Well, a hard running wing back if you're going to use a different formation, or let's say a winger on that side. So it's like you're not going to play him as a winger. You're going to play more inside of the formation. Save his energy for attacking moments. That is where the match will be decided. So it can be like even a super sub then, people. But you have to manage his psychological side as well because the pressure can be on him too much. All right? So the thing is, Bailey doesn't need to play 90 minutes every game. Use him correctly, please, Unai Emery, and possibly Mr. Rudolph Speed, 45 to 60 minutes. I said it before as a super sub. Let's say as a second weapon. Even in a front two, but he's playing more behind the striker. You know, if that is the case, to get him in the side to make him have a big impact. Because he can still change matches without breaking down physically. Never write off a player that has quality. Remember Usain Bolt when he was injured and Blake thought he would have won. Even Gatlin have his days. But here comes Usain Bolt winning again and again and again. We know Bailey's situation is different, but never write off a player who can have an impact. Bailey is one of our best players. He has to be responsible for his own injuries, but this is not the time to beat him. This is the time to see how well we can put him into a system if he is even 70% fit for him to have an impact. What does this mean for Jamaica? The approach has to be crucial because with World Cup qualifications ahead, Jamaica doesn't need a sprinting Bailey. We need a more tactical Bailey who can fine tune his play. And I think he has to adjust his game. Some things are not coachable, some things are just adapted. You can coach a player, but if he's not willing to adapt, he will fail. And I think Bailey is good enough to adapt, but the system has to complement the style of play. Jamaica needs a few dribblers, but not too much. But we need persons who can dribble, make key passes. Bailey, one moment can be historic for you. We don't want to hear Bailey is not in the squad because I heard that Borrell is absent. And I think that having players out at key moments will be a detriment to us. And I'm not seeing JFF. I'm not hearing JFF getting anybody. So these players that they use currently is not good enough for the international level. So a solution has to be made. So even at 70%, Bailey can still be a difference maker for Jamaica if he is protected and used intelligently. People, at 70%, Bailey still can deliver for Jamaica or Aston Villa. But only if both club and country can implement a system to put him in. Or let's say, yes, a system. Every team have a system, but how to utilize him, not to let him break down physically, but how to be tactical, more tactical on the pitch. This is where I end my talk. So, people, let me know your thoughts around the topic. How Leon Bailey can save, well, can still. I'm thinking about being saved because I want to see him back at that place. But because of those constant injuries, he will not be a fully battery charged iPhone like when you're buying the phone. I said the iPhone analogy before. He will not be purchased at 100% battery at this stage of his career. More so at 70, or it could be 85 at most. But Bailey still can be effective. So, people, drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I await your thoughts because I have my response for you. So, you all take care. Goodbye until we meet again.